Hi Aries! Well, welcome to my channel if you're new and welcome back if you're regular here. So Aries, this is your mid-February readings. So we have three big events for the mid-monthlies. This time we have the full moon in Virgo. That is occurring in the first degree of Virgo, so the energy is intensified. And you guys know about intense because when you have a passion for something or an idea, you really lock into it the passion that makes it great. Aries is fiery energy. You're ruled by the god of war. And we have something interesting going on there too. So the first thing I want to start with is the bit that you're probably worried about. Depending on your perspective on Chiron. So Chiron is known as the wounded healer. In Greek mythology, he was actually a philosopher, I believe, who was a healer. But he could heal everything and everyone but himself. So to have Chiron in your sign, which is the sign of self, it's the first sign of the zodiac, it's the first house, where your identity is paramount to your healing. So your sense of self over the next few years is going to be the place where you're really learning lessons. We've had Uranus in your sign, which is a little bit unpredictable, but Chiron's more to do about learning how to heal yourself, because that was the objective with Chiron himself. Identity wounds may become more and more present. So you may actually find you emerge in the next few years as someone very different to who you began as. And the reason for that is that you're truly going to be finding out who you are and what you want to do, what you have to give, where any insecurities lie. And I know as an Aries, you pretend that you don't have any insecurities. And interestingly enough, you probably have less than most people. Depending on your chart. Aries is a very good sign for self-esteem, but Chiron in your sign will also on a global level affect the wounded masculine. Okay, so what that means is where you have a lack of trust for the world, for your spirituality, ignoring your emotional guidance system, ignoring your emotions in general, living by the clock, being successful in your own definition of being busy. If you're constantly doing things, you're passing the time in order to look busy or look successful. It's not really about tuning into yourself, not taking time to meditate and reflect. And Chiron will make you, in particular Aries, do this. You will probably learn so much more about yourself. If you're having these little power trips in your relationships, for example, it's probably because there's a distorted masculine energy. So in order to be the divine masculine, you need to actually tend to the feminine. And this will be an interesting transit for the world in terms of male-female relationships, particularly in the workplace, particularly in career. For you, it's going to be something very similar. So your masculine programming, what you were taught by society in terms of male energy. Also, that aside, because that's going to be a long-standing aspect, that's going to be for the next 7 years, I think. Possibly more. Don't quote me on the exact, but it is going to be around that time. Now, the day after this shift, we do have a full moon in Virgo. And as I said, it's in the first degree of Virgo, so it's going to be intensified. So think about the Virgo aspects of your personality, where Virgo is in your chart in particular, and look to that planet or that asteroid and see what it rules, and that'll give you more information. But on a more simplistic level, the full moon in Virgo is going to change up your routine. It's going to highlight what's not working for you, especially in terms of diet. So you may decide to start a new diet. The full moon in your health sector is always the best time to start a diet or become more aware of what you're putting in your body. What you're doing for the environment also, but your day-to-day routine, maybe you could incorporate recycling. I'm not here to get at you, not here to judge you. I'm just giving you the Virgo energies. It's very well aspected to Mars, which is of course your ruler, and it's also well aspected to Uranus. So that's in your sign. So with Uranus there, you may feel more independent, and you may actually under this full moon find that you need a lot more space from the people in your life and the things that are clouding your judgment. With Chiron being in your sign, immediately the energies, now you did feel this in April 2018. Chiron did a very short spell in your sign over summer and then moved back into Pisces. But you know, think back to where you were in April 2018. You may have had a real shift or a real awakening in your life, which is good to look back at what was going on at that point and see how the energy affects you overall. It will wake you up to things you want to change, and it will expose some old wounds, but although you want to, as the warrior, keep persisting, even soldiers need time off to heal, Aries. Bear that in mind. There could be some old war wounds that need tended to in order for you to thrive. Ooh, right. Because we have been talking a lot in your scopes about sacrificing the more emotional side for the more business-oriented life. And that is exactly about healing the distorted masculine. Your relationships and what you get from life emotionally are very, very important. And if you do continue to ignore that and focus on your career solely and your levels of success in society to your family, you may find that you cannot ignore it any longer. You know, you need some emotional fulfillment. I'm going to explain in the... I'm going to do a video on Chiron, actually. And I'm going to explain that when babies are born, whether they're male or female, they cry. So what's the difference with adults? Why are men told to stop crying? Yin and yang, listen to the feminine and the masculine. 5 of Cups, sadness. So there is a wound here. We already have a wound off the bat. The Ace of Swords, victory. The 3 of Swords is in your positive position. We've got healing straight off the bat. That's interesting. 7 of Wands in the challenge, endurance. And the 4 of Swords, recovery. So this is exactly as you would expect with Chiron. What's underneath? Ah, the Fool. Beautiful. 0 degrees in Virgo this full moon, and the Fool is 0. Okay, Aries. So you are healing something, and it's pain. You're healing a pain. The 3 of Swords is the card that everybody knows so well. It's the 3 swords piercing the heart, typically in the typical tarot deck. And it's the same here, the 3 swords crossing each other. And with this in the positive position, what you can expect in late February, especially as the sun shifts into Pisces around the full moon, you will start to pay attention to what's lurking within your subconscious. So this is going to seem a little bit heavy, Aries. Just bear with me. There's a good ending to this. When the sun goes into Pisces, it's your 12th house, the subconscious. Some astrologers refer to it as the emotional dustbin, the 12th house, but there's so much success in there waiting to be capitalized upon. The people that live by their creativity, that follow their intuition, that follow their subconscious, that use the law of attraction, that use spirituality, are so successful because they're tapping into the spiritual. Chiron was in Pisces since 2010, awakening us to a spiritual movement, encouraging that side. Now it moves into your sign, but you still have to go through that shift. With the sun in Pisces, you're going to be feeling absolutely immersed in your own emotion, and that's okay because that's what you've been ignoring for a while. That is why we have the distorted masculine energy of Chiron in your sign. That's fine. You're doing something brilliant here. With the 3 of Swords in the positive, your little emotional wobbles or big emotional wobbles late February will be paramount to your success and your recovery to be the strongest person you can be. If you continue to do your God of War thing, where you go to war every day, you're ready to fight another day, every single day. You see Aries constantly. They get up, they go. Unstoppable, right? But if you have a wound and you're continuing to go to war every day, you're not going to heal and the wound is going to get worse. So consider this a little period of recovery, the last 2 weeks of February, because it's going to be a longer process, but it does not mean that each day is going to feel that way. A lot of the time, 12th house energy, while the sun is in Pisces, is sort of pulling up the wreckage from the bottom of the sea, you know, so that you can be on your way to a new, better adventure, so that you can have that optimism, that fresh energy, that excitement back that makes you feel like life is worth living. There is some degree of sadness here that you're dealing with, Aries, that you may have tried to shove to the very bottom, because the challenge is the Seven of Wands, which is endurance. Bear in mind, the Seven of Wands, it's very defensive energy, and in your challenge it means that you've been fighting a feeling for far too long, or fighting some kind of change for far too long. Do you know what I'm saying? And wands are fire energy, their action, their career. You've maybe been spending so much time fighting for your dream job, your dream career. You've been worried so much about that. You've not taken any time to sit and smell the roses or look around. Career is a brilliant, brilliant thing to focus on in life when you need to. But there needs to be some degree of balance. There needs to be fulfillment on more than one level. And when I say the Seven of Wands in the challenge, it means you're fighting something off. You're resisting something. And what you resist will persist. So if you're resisting healing, as we have here with the Three of Swords, and the Four of Swords is the outcome, if you're resisting that, Aries, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until it's bigger than you. And you need to be here. This is the only major arcana that showed up for this first go at this spread, Aries. Bear that in mind. The Fool is a wonderful card to get. You may feel like you're going through some sort of strange, uncomfortable process at times, but it's actually more of a Fool energy if you just looked at it differently. Something painful has stymied your optimism. It's like walking on eggshells for you around an emotional issue. That's how you feel. That's not how I feel about you, but that's how you feel. Walking on eggshells. Yep, King of Wands, practicality. You're trying to be so practical and so driven and so passionate. You're trying to be the King of Wands personality that you think everybody wants you to be and needs you to be. You guys, after an argument, there's nobody better than an Aries to just continue on and just get over it. But some things go a bit deeper than that, and just because that's habit for you doesn't mean that you can ignore certain things within you that are lurking. And I know that sounds a bit repetitive, but your motivation is what's important here. So what is motivating you to heal? Is it to have your dream relationship? Is it to experience more fun in life, more optimism? What's motivating you? You could have had some sort of issue or desire, because it's unclear yet, surrounding an earth sign. A Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. But he's coming up with the Victory card, which is the Ace of Swords. So in your desires, I feel you want a level of financial stability and career stability. And you want something great for somebody else, which is interesting. It's like you need to be victorious in order to feel secure about something. Eight of Wands in the positive position, so there's travel, possibly for some of you, also movement and communication. You're finding a way to communicate your feelings. This is interesting because Pisces is in, Pisces is your 12th house, right? It also depends on your rising sign, so do watch your moon and rising as well for things like this. This may apply very much more so for Aries rising individuals, but the Three of Swords and the Eight of Wands is being able to communicate that pain that's within you. And with Mercury there for you, and then Mercury's going to be retrograde, you're going to be feeling a little bit like you can say what you mean in terms of your feelings without feeling weak, which is wonderful. But you are your challenge, Aries. You are. You are your main competition. You are the only person you have to strive to be better than you were yesterday. That's your competition. That's where you make movement. That's where you endure challenges. You're not supporting yourself as much as you should be. And I think a lot of it is to do with being worried about an earth sign, being more concerned about an earth sign, maybe more so than you are with yourself, but that can also be being, more concerned with your financial situation, your career situation, day-to-day things. The Virgo full moon will wake you up to what's going on in your routine that is maybe sacrificing a little bit of self-care. And the Ace of Pentacles, prosperity. Now this makes sense. Underneath we have the Angel of the Ocean, which is temperance, healing. Okay, so I know that this is repetitive, but these are the things that you need to hear. This is all for your greater good. In fact, this couldn't prove it anymore. A period of rest and recovery is what brings you to prosperity. If you've been having a time out of career, if you've been unemployed, you're headed towards something that is a lot more fulfilling and actually will be more financially fulfilling if you tend to it correctly. Okay? You cannot give from an empty cup. That's what the Five of Cups means. You cannot give from an empty cup. You need a period of healing and a period of recovery. Sometimes, Aries, and I understand this really well, sometimes when you have a down period of time out by yourself, it can feel so uncomfortable, because facing yourself can be the most uncomfortable thing. But it's all happening for a reason. Okay? The angels are with you. Talk to your guardian angel. Call on your angels. They're here to guide you. They're here to protect you. You're going through a very intense period of healing. And if I said that to a Pisces, they'd get it and think, oh, okay, that's good, because then I'll come out the other end and I'll feel more, relieved. I like downtime anyway. I like time alone. If you say to an Aries you need to go through a period of healing, they'll say, but I have to pick up my dry cleaning. I have to do this. I have to progress in my career. I have a meeting coming up. I've got to clean the floor. Oh my goodness, I've got to meet so-and-so for lunch, but I'll have to cut that short because I have to be somewhere else for dinner. And then they're like, where can I schedule in healing? That doesn't happen. It's not a scheduling thing. If you took 15 minutes a day to meditate, to just clear your mind, to read up a little bit on your emotions, to feel, with the Virgo full moon, anything that's lurking beneath you is going to manifest in your body. If you are telling yourself, if you're wearing yourself really, really, really thin, you're probably going to get the flu, The flu is sometimes regarded as a very spiritual thing, because if you have a buildup of negative energy with you, sometimes the flu can release that. Or if you are stressing about getting things done and you're not remembering to eat properly, your skin might break out. Aries, your body will show you what's wrong. Okay? That's just the case. But it's not something to worry about. It's just something to be aware of. Because you're anxious. And I know you're anxious because of Chiron. But this is use it as a motivator rather than something to worry about, okay? That's the key to Aries success. Using your anxiety as a motivator. Six of Wands, success. I know you want success. In your hopes position, we have victory, trust, and success. I know. Queen of Wands in your positive. You are going to be listening to your more feminine side. That's brilliant. I love this. Divine feminine energy in your positive position with communication, with heartache, communicating your pain, and finding a passionate outlet too. Pisces energy is brilliant for that. Piscean energy is brilliant for having the outlet. We just had that massive lunar eclipse in your 5th house energy of passion, of creativity. You've probably encountered, and if you haven't, you will, some kind of outlet for your body or for your mind. Something that silences you. A passion. And if you haven't, keep looking, because the Virgo full moon may actually illuminate something very, very spiritual for you that gets your body moving too. 10 of Pentacles in the challenge position. Yes. Same old story. Which means we haven't quite gotten through to you yet. 10 of Pentacles, King of Wands, 7 of Wands. You're so career driven. You're also so dedicated to your family, which is wonderful. But what about you? Because you're in your challenge position, so you're not looking after you. You're looking after everybody else. Justice. Balance. This is unbelievable. I'm actually really, really interested. I just can't believe that this has been so true to the astrology. you know, to such a scary level. Justice, balance, prosperity, recovery. Recovery will lead you to a more balanced life. Take some downtime. Take a weekend away. Take a spa weekend, Aries. There could be a Libra in your future for some of you too. There could also be other fire signs. This is beautiful though. Some of you are going to be doing very well if you work in the legal profession. In fact, I don't know if there's some of you Aries that are definitely working in law, because this keeps coming up, this Justice card, but I think it is to do with getting the balance back in your life. If you're waiting for a court decision or a legal affair, it's going to possibly have been delayed, but it will be in the best interests of justice. So it will be a fair and just outcome. Okay, so that being said, let's draw a Goddess Guidance card and then a Love card for Aries. Oh, okay. Yamanya, golden opportunity, important doors are opening for you now, walk through them. Okay. Now what I do notice about this is the Piscean vibe of the water. So in Pisces season, you're going to become aware of things. Sorry, I didn't realize you can't see that. There's a dolphin here. Dolphins are very trusting beings. So you're going to trust your emotions. You're going to trust the process of submerging yourself in the watery side of yourself. There's not going to be a lot of fire in the sky around this full moon in Virgo. That's okay. You are the fire that you need to keep yourself warm, but you can go into the depths of what it is that you're feeling, because this does seem to be leading to an opportunity. Even your outcome, recovery, leads to prosperity and balance. I don't know what else to tell you, but that seems to be the big change for you. So get the gardener. The grass is not always greener. Tend to your garden first. Tend to your flowers. Tend to your own environment. Look after yourself. Give to yourself. Find a creative outlet. Find a creative passion. There's prosperity, a golden opportunity. A golden opportunity to heal. And as I say, I know as Aries, you don't always like that because you'd rather be doing something. If it takes a constructive passion where you can see results that accesses your mind, body, and soul, do that. As I say, you don't have to be downtime to be healing, but it doesn't hurt. You guys are going to be successful anyway. You just have that drive. You just have that energy. And you know, I'm just thinking, for those of you that are in a partnership, I feel like some of you may be getting engaged on holiday because you may realize that this person balances you out. You know, they're the yin to your yang. Justice, it could be a Libra. For a lot of you, it seems that healing a heartbreak and finding some sort of passion in your life, be it another person, be it a relationship, there's something really beautiful and balancing coming out of this. And it could be a person that's very emotionally supportive. Okay? So, your masculine is the challenge, your feminine is the answer, right? So, stop thinking you have to man up on everything. Do listen to your emotions. They're there for a reason. Men have intuition too. You know? And if you're a woman and you're very driven and you're very passionate, don't let other people put you down for that. Be a cheerleader for other women. Be a cheerleader for your fellow human beings. The Queen of Wands is here to help you, to assist you, to drive you. She's actually very intuitive, very psychic. People don't know that about her a lot of the time. She is very intuitive. She follows her intuition. She follows her gut. It's just that she acts on it, you know. I really like this reading for you, Aries. It gives me a lot of hope that Chiron moving into your sign is going to rebirth you as the Fool card. You know, you're going to start over, you're going to feel fresh, you're going to feel energized, you're going to have a bit more faith and a bit more optimism, provided you're listening to the more feminine aspects of yourself. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Bye.